How do you even start this? Hey guys, welcome to the 100th episode of Believe the Diva, and the first episode I've done in 4 years. People always ask me why I stopped making videos, especially since I had 40,000 subscribers, whereas now I have about 1% of that. And, whenever anybody would ask me, I would say it was because I was busy with school, or, my human resources at my job found it and told me I had to take it down because I'm inappropriate. However, the real reason that I stopped making videos was because I became severely depressed after being gay bashed. So it was the first semester of sophomore year, and it was supposed to be the whole new year, new me thing. I relaxed my hair, and I came to school, and I was ready to floss on everybody, and I was just like a big, black, muscular. I looked like the female version of Serena Williams. I had already built a name around campus as like the big comedian, and a lot of people knew who I was. And, became famous for writing these big, long Facebook rants. And so whenever anything happened on campus, people would immediately go to my page and see what I had to say about it. Well, one day, we were in the dining hall, and this fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, decided to throw a surprise, like, step battle thing. And their routine, Alpha Phi Alpha was a black frat. So their routine made all these black guys, dance like gorillas. And they had this one really, really, really light-skinned guy in there, to the point where he looked white. And he was like the king of them all. So it was like all the dark-skinned, like, black guys were the gorillas, and then he was like the king. And when you look at the white people's face, and even they uncomfortable, something is hella racist. So I was like, I gotta talk about this, because this shit is crazy. So I go on my page, and I made this long status with a lot of offensive jokes, because that's who I am. And I remember there was one joke that they did not like. That joke was, I said, get the white guy out of the frat, because if you don't, the only thing making that frat African American is the fact all the brothers have different dads. I love that joke. And I know what you're thinking, that like, okay, that joke was hella offensive, you deserve to get your ass whooped. But, no. You know what I mean? I would never put my hands on somebody, no matter what the fuck they said, and this is a free-ass country, so you ain't about to do that to me. I mean, he did, but... So, like, after I posted that, everyone commented and was like, oh my god, this is exactly what I was thinking. You said what was on our minds. And then there were some who were like, Kevin, you take this down. They will attack you. And honestly, there was a fair warning. And I was like, no, there's no way that's going to happen. So one day the president of the frat messaged me, and he was like, how could you betray us? I'm like Martin Luther King, I'm like Michael X. And it's like the way he was talking, he made it seem as though he was like the most important thing, in the entire world. And I was like, calm the fuck down. This is all comedy. That's all it is. It's all comedy. And it was around Christmas time. I had agreed to do stand-up at a bar. And what I did was, I went to the bar, did stand-up. I did this whole new routine. And like everyone loved it. Everyone was laughing. Everyone was crying. It was one of the best nights, right? And so I leave the bar with my friends because they wanted to continue going out. And this guy stops me, and he came up to me and he was like, hey, I saw your set, you were really great. And I was like, oh my god, thank you. And then he was like, yeah, I'm a political science major, and I always wonder what goes on in the heads of everybody. So I wonder, that's why it's so funny. And my friends were like, oh my god, this guy's gonna talk to him forever. We'll meet you at the next place. And so they leave. And so it was just me and this guy on the street. And so I was like, oh, that's so cool. You know, I'm just happy someone gets my humor. And then he says, yeah, you know, it's really cool because, you know, I'm also in the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. And I was wondering, what makes you think what you said was funny? And I was like, it didn't hit me yet. So I was like, oh, you know, everything is just jokes. It's not a big deal. And then he goes, no, I want to know, why do you think that was funny? And then 2 people appeared out of nowhere beside him. And next thing so there's 3 people surrounding me. And when I tell you, I was like, I just immediately started backing away. And so I was walking, and I was walking downhill, which is stupid. I'm walking, and like I just hear footsteps behind me, and they were getting faster and faster, and I was like, oh shit. Here we go. So I hear the footsteps. Next thing you know, I can feel a push on my back, and I flew. And I didn't just fly. Flew, hit the ground since I was going downhill, skid on the ground. And then I was getting kicked, you know, punched, being called faggot, gay ass, everything under the book. Basically, you know, you're not gonna talk about our frat like that. And then it was like, it felt like, it must have been 30 seconds. Felt like 3 years. It was like I could feel everything. And so they leave, and I could hear my friends running back, you know, because they heard me screaming or something. And they were like, what happened? And I was like, he was in the frat. And they were like, oh my God. And so they take me back. By the way, this is all at the University of Georgia. So this is like the Deep South. So I was like, that explains why I was jumping. Because I know if the thing was, you know, I'm pretty sure if a straight guy had made those jokes, they wouldn't have been as angry as if I had made it. And you can tell because they called me a fag and gay the whole entire time. It wasn't, you're not funny, you know, this is about like black frat or whatever. It was the fact that it was a gay man going up against them, you know, so they felt humiliated and emasculated. And so I go home. Thank God my best friend was my roommate at the time. Because I walked in and I was like, I got jumped and his lights were off. And so he was like, man, shut up. And then he saw me. He turned on the lights and saw me and saw that I had like blood all over my face. And he was like, what the fuck? So I didn't know what to do. So he called the police. Okay. The police come, they see me, and they know that I was in a fight. And so the guy was talking to me, the police officer. And he goes, you know, what happened? And I told, you can see his face was like caring. He was like, oh my God, what happened to you? And when I told him, you know, that I was gay and I got attacked, it's probably the scariest moment of my life. You could see his face just switch. It was like, it went from caring to just, it was the tiniest movement, I swear to you, but you could just feel a whole shift in the energy in the entire room. And immediately, it became my fault. Why didn't you call us when you were there? Why did you wait this long to report this? How do we know we can believe you? There's no security cameras on that street, so there's no evidence we can go back to that. You're causing all this drama and you ain't got no proof. Just everything going off. And it was like, before that, he was like writing everything I said. And the second I said I was gay, he stopped writing. He stopped taking notes. The woman officer next to him wasn't doing anything. And it was at that moment I knew nothing was gonna happen. Nothing. And, you know, they took a photo of me that night and my face was messed up. And I remember thinking, because it was so bad on my face, I was like, please God, do not let this leave a scar. Because I'm going into the entertainment business and I'm like, if I mess up my face, I am completely done. So that was that. So they left And I was there by myself in my room, and I remember thinking, you know, I'm the guy who watches every Law and Order SVU episode. And I'm like, oh my God, how could you not, report this? I was like, if anyone ever touched me, oh, you best believe I'm gonna be calling every cop. I'm gonna be suing everybody. I'm gonna be, they ain't gonna hit it last of me. Somebody going to jail. And it was the way that, after dealing with the police officers and feeling like my entire life was over, I was just like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I didn't tell my family until like 3 weeks after it happened. And then even then, I underplayed it, to make it seem like some guy just like slapped me. And then I got mad when they didn't care, even though I set it up to where they shouldn't have cared. So it became a vicious cycle. I could not remember the guy's name. He told me his name and I could not remember it. And that is what killed me for an entire year. And like, I told everybody that I didn't care, that it had no effect on me. I was making jokes like, I'm actually happy because that's the first time a man has ever touched me, stuff like that. And it was like, I had honestly on the inside lost all confidence. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was standoffish. I hated going downtown. I couldn't go down dark corners by myself. I had to get away from the school. I signed up for a study abroad program to New Jersey, and I hated every second I was there, but I just had to be out of the school. I got back, and it still felt the same way. I stopped making statuses. I couldn't make a YouTube video because I felt as though, being in front of the camera, I didn't want anyone to look at me, So I felt ugly. My self-esteem hit the floor. I was the most confident person in the world. Everything was just kaput. And, the police never did anything about it. I'm not even sure they filed a report or even tried to investigate it. I should have went to the Athens Police Department and not the school police department because they would have slid everything under the rug. And then I remember, it was the next semester. It was the last week right before finals. I was in a bar, my favorite bar, called Jersey's. And it was a dance bar. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, hey, you're that guy who got jumped, right? And it was like out of nowhere. That was like 6 months ago. I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, you were the talk of the town of the frat for the entire year. And I was like, wait, what? He goes, yeah, I'm in the frat and I know who hit you. And I was like, well, who was it? And he goes, well, I'm not going to tell. And should have called the cops then. But I couldn't. So yeah, I had to put up this image of that, like, I wasn't being affected, So right after I got jumped, the very next day I was in the same bar. And I was like trying to prove to myself, you ain't gonna do nothing to me. I'm stronger than this. I don't care what you do. That was all a lie. So for the past 4 years, I was dealing with depression, possible alcohol addiction, low trust issues with men. I couldn't be around it. I couldn't be around men. I couldn't have them touch me or do anything. I made like, through the 4 years, I probably made at least 30 videos to get back onto YouTube. And it's just, it just never panned out. I felt empty. And, after finally getting help, watching self-help things on Oprah, which sounds crazy. I just binge watch Oprah, Iyanla, and Dr. Phil. And like, my life has completely changed. And what's funny is, it wasn't until today that like I realized that I have forgiven this guy for everything he's done to me. And honestly, if I saw him in person today, I would thank him. Because had he not jumped me, I would never have made the decision to go to New Jersey. Had I not went to New Jersey, I would never made the contacts in New York who got me my job at E! For NBC so I could work the red carpets. Had I not done that, I would never been able to work for TMZ. Had I not done that, I would not have been able to make the connections for the job I am right now, video editing and, working on movies and, being happy, living on my own. Right now, I would be in Georgia at some low-rung news station, that, didn't respect me for who I was and wanted to change everything about me, trying to work my way up as a weatherman. I would be a weatherman right now. So yeah, if he was here, I would say thank you. But with that said, if I see him on the street, and if he's watching this, let me apologize for that sudden burst of anger, because the problem is I've been eating all this goddamn Cheerios protein, and I swear they be putting mad cow disease or some shit up in here, because ever since I started eating it, I've been ready to fight. So the moral of the story is, the universe has a funny way of completely changing your life and putting you where you need to be. So if you're going through a humongous struggle right now, trust and believe, 2 years from now, you're gonna see exactly why everything happened to you. If you're going through a death, if you're going through, a gay bashing, if you're going through a breakup, 2 years from now, you're gonna look back and be like, oh my God, thank you so much. Because, the person who I was back then, let me tell you something. If I continue making YouTube videos, I have no doubt that I would be a huge YouTuber right now. No doubt. I'm telling you, I would be at the top. I will also tell you my career will probably be short-lived, because the me back then did not have the skin to handle criticism. I caused drama with people for no reason. I took everything personally. I would build up fights. I had low self-esteem and didn't realize I had low self-esteem. So if I was given a great opportunity, subconsciously, I would find a way to fuck it up, and then I would blame it on other people. And it wasn't until I actually had to sit down with myself, get the help and understand, what the hell was going on in my life and why I was where I was in my life, that I was able to handle everything. So now I could become a big YouTuber and I'd kill that shit because I'm dope as hell. But back then I would have done the same thing, but the littlest thing would have got me pissed off and would have got me blackballed from the industry. So this guy saved my career, honestly, by beating my ass, which is crazy. He saved my career, saved my future, and got me to where I want to be in life. So thank you. But like I said, nigga, me and you on the street, I'm gonna give it to Jesus. Give it to Jesus. So yeah, this is a rambling video. And I was supposed to make this big humor video, but I was like, if I'm gonna come back, I wanna come back, with something that might actually benefit somebody out there. So, you can look at my picture and cringe like I do, but I used to look at that picture and cringe, and I would look at it and I would cry every single time. And now, I look at it and all I see is the world's worst hairstyle and a kid who was severely damaged, who had just finally been given a gift to see what the hell he was put on this earth to do. And that's what I'm doing right now. So, every video from now on will not be as depressing. I've evolved as a person, and so will my channel. So, this is my 100th video. I have 99 in the past, but I temporarily put them on private because, I want to rebrand everything. Who I was back then is not who I am right now. But I'm still a bad bitch. I mean, don't get that confused. I'm still that bitch. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. It feels good to be back. It definitely does. And I miss you guys. And follow me on Instagram because that's where I've been hiding for like the past forever. And yeah, let's have some fun from here on out. Love, peace, and chicken grease.